Hello again, denizens of the YouTuberverse. Today I'm going to be doing another episode of Desultation Nation. Here I'm going to be going into more of the paralinguistics analysis that some YouTubers do and the faults I find in what they're doing. This sort of paralinguistics analysis isn't something new, and it's not something that's limited to scholars of the subject. In the book of Sirach by Ben Sirah, written about 200 years ago, 200 BC, Ben Sirach wrote, "As when one sifteth the sieve, the dust will remain, so will the perplexity of a man in his thoughts." The more modern translation of that is, when a sieve is shaken, the husks appear, and so do people's faults when they speak. So he is basically describing the same thing here. You do an analysis of what someone is saying, and he would not have used terms like paralinguistics analysis or body language, but he would have been using the same skills to analyze what someone is saying. And what I'm going to be starting with is, again, this guy who goes by Martin DeCoder on YouTube, who made some very annoying sort of errors and misstatements that I wanted to follow up on and add a little bit more to. In this clip, Martin DeCoder is using the word synecdoche incorrectly. The specific examples that he gives in this clip are of fallacies of composition. Synecdoche just does not apply to what he's talking about here.
The problem that I use to represent the whole. Politics is full of synecdoches like, see, the employment rate is bad because this car company can't afford to hire, or schools are doing great because the teachers at this school are great, and so on. Trump uses synecdoches to...
In this clip, Martin DeCoder is saying that Trump voters are using a sort of circular reasoning in the way they approach the issue of immigration, which is not what's going on at all. And he ascribes the voters' views on immigration to fear-mongering. I'm going to go ahead and play his clip and then describe what's actually going on.
Would Trump make this about immigration? Because voters consider immigration to be one of the most urgent issues. And why is it urgent? People who support Trump's immigration policies would simply say that it is urgent and that you need to deal with urgent issues. Critics, on the other hand, would say that Trump and other like-minded politicians have made it urgent via fear-appealing tactics.
And that's simply not the case. Voters aren't saying it's urgent just because it's urgent. They're saying it's urgent because it's their lived reality. So what Trump is doing is speaking to the lived reality of the voters, where they're experiencing immigration as a serious problem. And it's the same with the economy. The Democrats kept saying the economy is fine, but that was not the lived experience of the voters. He closes by saying that Democrats are accusing Trump of fear-mongering and getting people worked up about a non-issue by fear-mongering. It's exactly the inverse. People already are aware that this issue is a problem, and they're being gaslit by the Democrats into thinking it is not a problem. So the actual analysis should be just a complete inverse of what he is saying here. My final commentary about the Martin DeCoder video is going to be about missed opportunity. He had a genuine opportunity to educate people on something that very few people seem to really understand. During this debate where David Muir and Kamala Harris were trying to tag team Donald Trump, David Muir came up with the perfect example of begging the question. And here it is.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so, that would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border?
So what David Muir is doing there is classic begging the question. He's accusing Trump. He's presenting this bill as it's been provably determined that this was a good bill to deal with the immigration situation, and you killed it. And he gives a specific example from the bill of it. They're going to hire thousands of new agents. Well, the problem with that is, no, it's not proven, and it's not even provable. You can assert it. So that's begging the question. The whole conclusion that he is coming to is based on unproven assertions. Wisely, Trump doesn't try to argue with him about that. He just goes on and talks about eating pets, I believe it was, and turned the whole thing into a discussion of where you came down on eating pets. You might say it was unethical or something, but no, that's what you do in this kind of debate. You don't try to debate policy wanker issues. So that was a missed moment, begging the question, trying to use unproven premises to support a conclusion. I'm going to end this particular episode of Desultation Nation with a commentary on Dr. Todd Grande's No Empathy Billionaire Since Aggravating Email video. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it in this video. I'm just going to start with the way he starts out is kind of childish. I don't know, it's very weird. I'm going to go ahead and play this and then comment on it.
2025, using an executive order, President Donald Trump created an organization called the Department of Government Efficiency. It's pronounced Doge instead of Doggy. This is a missed opportunity. Doggy is a much better name.
And that's just sort of an odd and childish thing to say. Doggy is a much better name. I think that's really silly. That's a really poopy idea, Dr. Todd Grande. Dr. Grande goes on to talk about how he finds Elon Musk's email confusing and disrespectful, and he's very disappointed by it. But what I don't really see is a genuine understanding of what Elon Musk is doing here. He's just sort of reacting to it without really doing an analysis, just kind of presenting his visceral reaction to it.
February 24, 2025, at 11:59 p.m. Elon had posted on the social media platform X that, consistent with Trump's instructions, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. This was not included in the email. It was.
I'm fucking with you, Ted.
And to some extent that is true. He is just effing with them. What he's doing there is just throwing a big rock in the water to see what kind of ripples he causes. His approach to dealing with cutting out government waste and inefficiency is sort of a deny all, allow some procedure, where he just shuts down everything and then just adds back things as it can be demonstrated that they are needed. So he will be like laying off people en masse, but then maybe bringing some back as it is determined that they are actually doing something useful. Dr. Grande goes on to explain here, Elon Musk is letting people know that he's setting the bar very low.
X. Later that same day, Saturday, Elon posted additional messages. He wrote, quote, "To be clear, the bar is very low here. An email with some bullet points that make any sense at all is acceptable. Should take less than 5 minutes to write, unquote.
And Elon is absolutely correct. For instance, an employee at a national security agency could say something like, I made an appointment to have my penis removed, and then I had my penis removed, and then I peed sitting down, and then I had my anus lasered, and then I texted about polyamory and polycore relationships, and that's what I did last week. And it should be very easy for the employees to, come up with 5 things that they did. And that example I just gave you was something that turned up. Actually, the employees who did that were actually fired. But it is not out of line asking people to just come up with 5 things that were useful that you did last week. And it should not be in any way difficult for them to do that. Dr. Grande also goes on in his video to talk about how Elon Musk has no empathy and no leadership skills, which is just silly on the face of it. Elon Musk has a personal worth of over, I believe, $380 billion, and he has built huge, successful companies. So his leadership skills are he has excellent leadership skills to be able to pull off that sort of thing. So his leadership skills aren't in question. Is he kind of running roughshod over these agencies? Yeah, but that's exactly what we want him to do. As I pointed out, he's taking deny all, allow some approach. And when you're dealing with a mess that big, that's how you do it. And actually, I would like to see the continuing resolution for the budget to be handled in the same way. Let the continuing resolution fail and then add back things as are needed. So when the Democrats start screaming, we don't have any funding for defense spending, create a bill that funds just defense spending and just add things back as they are needed, rather than coming up with a huge bill that funds all sorts of crazy pet projects. So Elon Musk is actually, doing a good job doing what he should. It's too bad that Dr. Grande doesn't really want to do an analysis. He's doing an emotional response where he is upset, I guess, at the way Elon Musk is dealing with federal employees. And that's all I have for this episode of Desultation Nation. I'll be throwing up another one pretty quickly. I'm learning how to do these pretty fast and being able to create something new very swiftly, so watch out for something new.